Yeah, I think one of the reasons I chose to come to Miami was because of the fan base. For one, there was a fan base before there was a player, so um, you could see them in the stands. Their passion, and they waited so long to have a team here, and I think we can say that we disappointed them this season. It just wasn't good enough from the first game to the last game, and um, just so happened I think today might have been our first loss that was by more than one goal. So we can't make any excuses for what's been happening here, but uh, we can thank them for their support, and hopefully they stick with us and understand 2020 wasn't a normal year, and hopefully they'll be out there next year to support us at the stadium.
Thank you, Mauri. Next up, we'll go to Franco.
Thank you, Jackie. Hey, AJ. Two quick questions for you. No, it's not the result you wanted. The first just being on this game in specific. This is obviously the 24th game you guys have had this season, and I know you guys didn't get to train as much as you guys probably wanted to over the last couple of weeks because of the situation. I know you're an expansion team that's still going through the first year and a very challenging first year, but how do you explain, as a veteran of this league that's been on many different teams, how do you explain the lack of understanding between players? In this one, 2 out of the 3 goals come from either no one pressing or no one tracking back to come put pressure on the ball. So how do you explain that? And the second one, you just said, you guys have disappointed the fans from the first game to the last game. Why has this year, obviously with the challenges, but why has this year not been anywhere close to what you guys wanted it to be and what you guys expected it to be? Thanks, AJ.
Yeah, the first one, as a defender, it's on us to close down shots. I think being along that back line, there wasn't enough communication but between all of us on who should step, when they should step. I also think Nashville's very good at, honestly, playing kickball. They have their center backs and they play 60-yard balls in the air, and with our midfield pressing and our sixes pressing and Will pressing and Blaze trying to press, it left a lot of gaps, I think, between the defenders and the midfield, and that's where you saw the 2 goals come from. And as a defender, you are trying to delay as much as possible, and guys running through behind me on the first goal, no matter whatever, it's a part of it. But sometimes you got to tip your hat because the first goal is a shot that you give him most times out of 10. So he struck it well, and I don't think that PK was a PK at all. I was honestly saying I'll be shocked if it stayed a PK and they didn't even. Well, I guess they checked it upstairs, but whatever. It's we have to do better. The communication has to do better. The language barriers have to be better. Too many guys don't speak Spanish. Too many guys don't speak English, and that leads to not communicating on the field. So that's the first part. What was the second question? Sorry.
AJ, the second question from Franco was, why don't you, from your perspective, why hasn't the team been as successful this first year as you think it maybe could have been?
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, I wish I knew the answer to that, man. Obviously, we're an expansion team. The team was made very, very late in 2019 into early 2020, and then we got guys coming in throughout the entire season. It makes it difficult to gel and to bond, and then you throw in COVID, and I think the first 2 games you saw a team that was feeling kind of confident in what we were doing, and then COVID hit, and then we're all separated for a couple months, all doing our own things and just chatting on Zoom meetings, which you don't really get to know a teammate that well, especially on the field, obviously, when you're not training day in and day out with them. So, but that's no excuse because Nashville is an expansion team and had to go through the same stuff as us. So, I wish I had the answer to that. I think when this is all said and done, man, I told somebody the other day you could write a book about all the things that have happened to this team, individually, collectively, on the field, off the field, and it could be a long book. Unfortunately, it ends tonight, though.
Thank you, Franco. We'll go to Paul Tenorio. Paul, you're off mute.
Yeah, AJ, a little bit on that note, the idea of it being a long book of things that went wrong, from kind of the stop and start of this season that kind of halted roster building partway through the year. Then guys came in late. MLS's back went the way it did. To get the positive tests this week that you guys did it just feel like, hey, this is the way this season has gone all year long, and kind of almost you shrug your shoulders and say, kind of almost expected to go wrong at this point?
Yeah, unfortunately, man, it's felt like that. It was literally one thing after another with guys on the team, and then even in the game today, it was almost exactly what's happened throughout our year. On the defensive side of the ball, we're not good enough at pressing and stopping shots. And on the flip side, I looked up at the scoreboard one time and we had 9 shots. They had 3 shots and they had 3 goals and we had 0. So on both sides of the ball, we have to do better. And that just comes with training and being better. We got nobody to blame but ourselves. I think a lot of guys can say they didn't live up to what they came here to do, unfortunately. And we have to go in the off season like that, feeling like that. And no matter who's here next year, I'm confident that this team and the people who are running it are doing the right things. So we have to keep our head up and everybody move forward.
Thank you, Paul. We'll take one more from Michelle. Michelle, you're off mute.
Thank you. Hi, AJ. I just wanted to ask you, thank you for your frankness and all of your honesty. Can you just talk about how big of an impact it was, what you guys had to go through this week? How much did you guys miss training? How did it affect what you guys were going through off the field? How do you think it affected your preparation and the result of the game today?
I feel like if I answer that question, I'm making excuses, to be honest. And that's the last thing I want to do because at the end of the day, like I said, we just were not good enough for a lot of reasons. But you hear coaches sometimes say, I don't want to make excuses, and then they name excuses. I'm not going to do that. I put it on my shoulders and the guys' shoulders that we just weren't good enough and we weren't prepared well enough to win the game tonight.
AJ, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Of course.